Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And a new card using one new product and several oldie but no, two new products. I lied. Two new products and several oldie but goodie favorites. So, Simon Says Stamps February 2025 release just went live. I'll have a link to that release in the description box below the video. Definitely worth checking out. There's a lot of really cute products. I will have more videos coming, as always. The one that I just was so excited when I was like flipping through the products is the coordinating stencil set, which looks like nothing, for the CZ Design Shiitake set, which was released a while ago. I've done a couple videos using this set already, so I'll have a link to those posted in the end screen at the end of the video. So originally there was the stamp and die set. Now there's a little coordinating stencil set, which I've talked about this a lot. I love to color, watercolor, markers, whatever. I also love using coordinating stencils. It's just satisfying. It's satisfying. That's all I got for it. So I was just excited. I was like, yes, love it. So I made a card with that stamp set inspired by one of the packs of bling that came in this release. My lights are kind of blowing it out. It's pretty. It's the Pastel Ice Embellishment mix. And I was just like, one, ooh, shiny. And two, I was like, oh, I like these colors. So that inspired the color combo. And then I pulled in some other oldie but goodie favorites. So as always, everything I used will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means if you click on one of my links and end up ordering something, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. That is what helps pay the bills, keeps my heaters going, enables me to continue bringing out content. And that's it for the housekeeping. Let's get into making the card. So I took all of the mushroom images from the Shiitake stamp set and I put them on acrylic blocks because for something like this is way easier than trying to use a stamp positioning tool. Because I'm just going to stamp these randomly all over this panel of white cardstock, which this panel is A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And in hindsight, I could have done this right on the card, right onto the front of the card base, but when I started making this, I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with it. So, did it on its own, which is fine. And I am stamping all these images with Simon's Intense Black ink. And like I said, just randomly. Just creating sort of a loose pattern, really. And I'm just going to work my way around until I have filled in this entire thing with these little mushrooms. And then once I've got everything stamped, I am going to put this panel onto a grip mat. That's just going to hold it down and make life a little bit easier to do all of the stenciling. And all the ink I'm getting on my, because my work surface is glass, I wiped that off. It's all good. No biggie. So, got everything stamped. Going to stick this to a grip mat. And once that's in place, I then am going to use that new coordinating little stencil and a variety of Simon Pawsitively saturated inks. So the first ink I'm starting with is just flannel, just a gray ink, and I'm going to use this for all of the stems and undersides of the mushrooms. So this I'm going to all do in one step because once I get to the colors, I have to start cleaning the stencil in between, which I'll show in a minute. So I'm just using my little blending brushes and just simple. Like I said, it's the satisfaction, but I also very much understand that for a lot of people, either they're intimidated by coloring or they just don't like it, So having stencils nowadays, it kind of gives people more options, and I'm all for the options. The more options, the better. I will always jump between, using a stencil or just coloring or watercoloring or whatever. Because I like all the things. I can't just stick with just one. That would bore me to tears. Anyway, I just kept working my way around, filling in the undersides of all of these mushrooms. And to clean my stencil in between colors, I have a bottle. I've shown this like in live streams and different things. I have a bottle of just isopropyl alcohol, like a spray bottle. This is like 70% isopropyl alcohol. I get it at my local pharmacy. I use that when cleaning my stencils and my glasswork surface. That is it. Do not use alcohol on your photopolymer stamps, your grip mats, etc., because the alcohol can ruin them over time. It's not going to ruin them if you've done it, in the past, but I highly recommend not. I only use the alcohols for cleaning my stencils and for like cleaning up, especially like adhesive and things on my glasswork surface. And the alcohol is just convenient too because it's fast. You can use just water, especially with these positively saturated inks. You can use just water, but the alcohol dries faster. And when I'm like switching between colors, it's just a convenience factor. So I'll have all the colors I use listed because I sped this up in editing. I just sped through it because it was simple. Like just simple. Line up stencil, blend on color. Move it, blend on next color. So all the colors I used though were lilac, marine, bubblegum, lemonade, and cheeky because these will go with the bling. And yeah, just spraying the stencil with alcohol, wiping it down in between the colors so that I don't contaminate any of my brushes or ink pads or anything like that. And then once they were all filled in, got to this last little spot here. And then there's the two areas in the stencil will do the actual like little spots on the two largest mushrooms. So for those, I just used the same colors. I just went in a little heavier handed with them just to keep things simple. So same thing, worked my way around, would clean the stencil in between the colors, and then got everything filled in. So once my little mushroom background is completely filled in, I took a white gel pen just to add little like lines and highlights and dots here and there just to give it a little extra something. I shockingly did not add splatter. Trust me, I thought about it many ways. I could do black splatter, I could add some white splatter. Like I thought about it. And then I didn't. I know. People always think I've lost my mind when I don't add splatter. Clean and simple is not my forte. It really isn't. I love clean and simple. I love the look of it. There is an art to clean and simple. I very rarely do it, but yeah, in some ways it's more work for me to do clean and simple because you gotta work a little harder. You gotta keep things, a little more neat, because splatter can cover up the oopsies. So I didn't make any oopsies, so I didn't need to cover it with splatter. So I know. But the previous video that I uploaded before this, I think I kind of more than made up for it. And I always make up for it in like, the next few videos. Like, it's all good. We're good. Everything's good. Amy is fine. Anyway, I took a piece of, I think this is Surf cardstock. I'll have the cardstocks linked as well. They're all from Simon Says Stamp. And I'd put it in my Misty and used my anti-static powder tool and then stamped one of the sentiments from the Shiitake set with clear embossing ink, coated it with detail white embossing powder, melted it with my heat tool, and then used the coordinating wafer die to die cut it. And then I also die cut a second piece with the little coordinating wafer die, which I will then adhere together just to build up a little bit of extra dimension. And yeah, it just gives it that little extra something. So I'm going to adhere those two layers together with craft tacky glue. And then I also pulled out a scrap of Simon's lemon chiffon cardstock. And I'm going to stamp one of the like sub-sentiments from the stamp set onto that with the intense black ink, which, is in the next part. I'm like getting ahead of myself with editing. I'll do that in a minute. I also die cut, this is lavender cardstock, and I pulled out a very oldie but goodie favorite, the frames die set that has multiple frames in it. And I just die cut this really narrow little scallop frame. And I did this twice, just again, to kind of give a little extra stability. This cardstock's heavyweight, but this is a very thin, delicate little frame. So I die cut the two layers and then just adhered them together with craft tacky glue. I also did think, I was like, ooh, this would be really cute to use to like make a frame for a shaker. But you would have to die cut so many layers to build it up, or cut down foam to like, foam adhesive, really, really narrow. And I was like, yeah, nope. I don't have the patience for either of those things, but it would look cute. So if you have the patience, you just die cut a whole bunch of these little frames and then you would sandwich the acetate between the top, you know, the second to top layer, and then put one on top, and it would look adorable. I don't have the patience, man. So I just adhered it. It just gives it that little extra something. So I adhered it to the panel, and then here I grabbed a scrap of the lemon chiffon cardstock, and I stamped one of the sub sentiments with the same just black ink, and then that I die cut with one of the sentiment label wafer dies. So ran that through, die cut that, and then to adhere these to the card front, I just took Simon's Big Mama foam tape. This is, you know, trimming these sorts of little strips down, that I have no problem with. You know, this is quick and easy. It's when you're like trying to like shave down like hair length, you know, hair width pieces of foam that I'm just like, no. Anyway, I put the foam tape on the back of those, and then I popped these onto the card front, just like so. So cute. And I love like pastel colors, really soft, and then with the juxtaposition of that with the sentiment just makes me laugh. I don't know. Anyway, card base, white cardstock. So like I said, I could have done all the stamping and stenciling on the front of this, but this was just a process. So I stamped another one of the sentiments from the set on the inside with the black ink, and then I just stamped the mushrooms with some of those same inks I did the stenciling with, just to finish off the inside. And then adhered the card front to the card base. So this is an A2 card, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And once I've got the card front adhered to the card base, I'm going to add a bit of that bling that inspired all the colors, which, yes, would have worked fabulously for a shaker. I could have done a flat shaker as well. I thought about it, and then I was like, no, you know, I can do a clean and simple card. I can do this. Some of the ledges I had to talk myself off of with all of it. It's funny. Anyway, I put some of the pastel ice confetti onto the card front and just picked out a few of the colors just to go with everything, and kept that just kind of light and simple as well. And then I'm just going to pick those up with my little embellishment wand and adhere them with craft tacky glue. And then once these are adhered into place, I just need to let the glue dry, and this card is complete. So we got our cute little mushrooms, no coloring at all needed, just very simple stenciling. The white gel pen highlights though do add just that little extra something, but a little bit of splatter wouldn't hurt either, you know? Just saying. Anywho, like I said, I'll have links to those other videos in the end screen at the end, and then all the supplies linked below. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I would love to have you, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!